If you found this video enjoyable, please leave a like and hell, even subscribe if you want to. It only takes 2 clicks, and push that notification bell just to get the messages for my videos. That would be greatly appreciated. When it comes to character growth in anime and manga, a lot comes to mind. Growth is usually tied in with motivations and dreams of main protagonists and characters in said series, whether that's to become the strongest warrior of them all, showing up people that thought less of you, defending your loved ones, etc, etc. But when it comes to Chainsaw Man and the main character Denji, growth is very simple, normal even in a world filled with devils. Denji as a main protagonist is pretty odd. From the start of the series, Denji only wants one simple thing: a normal life. This may seem simple at first and very, small compared to other characters in anime and manga with large aspirations to become the best. Denji seems pretty insignificant compared to them. The difference being not the dream, but the journey getting to that dream. And the word journey can be replaced with growth, because a journey is just growth in disguise, to be totally honest. Denji at the start of the series has truly nothing. He doesn't have a mother, he doesn't have a father, he lives in a shack, and he has a debt to pay off to the mafia, thanks to his deadbeat father. But he does have one thing: a devil dog named Pochita. It's nothing much, but he does have a friend. And with the power of this friend, he does try to pay off the debt to the mafia by killing devils in the world of Chainsaw Man. A short time later, some shenanigans do occur where the mafia betrays Denji and does end up killing him and Pochita. But through luck and some skill, Pochita is able to fuse with Denji, making the Chainsaw Man devil hybrid. Denji uses this new power to kill off the rest of the mafia and their devil subordinates, and ends up meeting our next main character, Makima. This is the first step in a long story of human growth and the journey to achieve some type of normal life. So after the initial intro arc to Chainsaw Man, we move into the first big arc, the Bat Devil arc, that introduces Power, Aki, and a lot of other characters we will see throughout the series. The relationships that form within this initial arc are incredibly important for the rest of the series moving on forward, due to the fact that Makima is set up to be a very interesting villain at the very start of the series to eventually become what she is at the very end of the series. And Power and Aki's relationship with Denji starts off pretty rough compared to at the very end of the series, and how it dramatically affects Denji. And we will see this growth in the series from this point onward moving forward. This arc really likes to highlight Power and Denji's relationship and how both of them are not very good people whatsoever. Denji is motivated by very selfish desires that are in a normal life, and Power is just Power, I guess. But at the very end of this arc, eventually we do get to see what these characters are truly are. Power is a person that honestly cares for things she likes to care about, and Denji, well, likes to play the hero in some aspects and regards, even if what motivates him is very not good in terms of being a regular shonen protagonist. But Denji does, of course, gain something at the very end of this arc that's just not showing what he can do, and that is he has a lot of courage, and a lot of people just don't have that. So it really just shows that even if this kid grew from nothing without any example, you can make something out of nothing. Now moving on forward, in the Eternity Devil arc, I don't think Denji really truly gains anything. More or less, it's kind of a setup plot for the next arc. But I will say, for other characters like Makima and Aki, their stories are laid out for later plot lines for Denji to interact with, one of them being the Gun Devil, and Makima being a very powerful manipulator in Denji's life, really showing her manipulative and toxic nature, and Denji still being motivated by very basic human desires. But in the Katana Man arc, this is where stuff changes dramatically. The trio of fools being Aki, Power, and Denji really show themselves to be a trio of just good friends moving on in this crazy world, trying to gain some type of normalcy and their own personal goals. And mainly focusing on Denji here, Denji gets his ass beat by the Katana Devil, showing that even with his raw amount of strength beating previous devils, when fighting this opponent, you are going to need something a lot more different. You are going to need a training arc. Enter Kishibe. Kishibe trains both Power and Denji in how to actually fight properly, set up tactics to win, and just overall be a bad motherfucker in these fights in the Chainsaw Man universe. This is where Power and Denji's relationship truly blossoms and just gets a lot better. Both of them start interacting in ways a lot more differently than in previous chapters and arcs. Power seems to be be a lot more lively and a lot more just friendly with Denji, and Denji vice versa. And when the Katana Devil and the Chainsaw Devil rematch, you can honestly see Denji just acts a lot more differently thanks to previous developments, his growth with different characters, that being Aki and Power and Kishibe, but still with some of his personal quirks. Hell, we can actually even use the Katana Devil as a foil here, being almost the exact opposite to Denji, him having an actual life within the Mafia beforehand being his motivations to kill Denji and the other people in the organization of devils, having everything at one point and losing it all, compared to Denji, who had nothing and actually has something now, and both of them clashing in this arc. But it doesn't end there for growth and development for Denji. Eventually, Aki joins the party, and him and Denji have a goddamn bro moment, really showing how both of these characters are finally becoming true friends and having a contest in which whoever can kick the Katana Man balls the hardest, they win. And it's a really cool moment, except for, you know, the Katana Man losing probably both of his nuts. But, you know, they're really growing as a pair of just delinquents and just having fun at what they do in this current point of the series. And a quick look back at Denji just before this arc. Denji truly had nothing, just a Chainsaw Devil dog and a shack. That's about it. But up till this point in the series, Denji has gained friendships, he has gained relationships with people he'd never probably have in the first place, and overall is feeling a lot more normal in terms of this chaotic world. Now, I will like to point out, in a normal life, you are not going to have the best of experiences and relationships, and with things hinted in the future of the series and looking back at the previous stuff in the series, you can really tell what relationships are bad and which relationships are good. But in life, that's what tends to happen. But this next arc really shakes it up a lot, and I think it's going to connect with a lot of people. The next arc is the Bomb Devil arc, featuring the character Rize. To give a brief description of this arc, Denji finds a woman who questions his love for Makima after meeting this woman, that woman being Rize. Denji really questions his relationship with Makima after meeting her, just because how much love and caring and just supportiveness she just gives Denji during their short times together, unlike Makima. But it does not turn out to be all, you know, bliss and wonderful. Turns out Rize is a double agent for the Russian government and is trying to take the powers of the Chainsaw Devil away from Japan and give them to Russia. And well, this leads to both Denji and Rize falling out. Maybe, kind of, it's really questionable because she says, "I never loved you," but then at the very end of the story, she says, "Maybe I liked you," and then tries to meet her, but then Makima kills her. So we never truly find out if she actually liked him in the end, but who honestly knows, because she's not really brought up after this point. But it just honestly shows that Denji is having a normal life. People honestly go through these problems all the damn time when they find somebody new to love with other people around them. Honestly, a really good arc showing what Denji is becoming later on in this series. But we're moving on to depression in the last 3 arcs of this series. The initial beginnings of the International Assassins arc is not really focused on Denji. His, powers are the main focus because that's what the assassins want, but he's not the main focus. It's more or less the group is the main focus up until the very end of the arc. Eventually, in a chance encounter with Santa Claus, who has the power of the Doll Devil, she makes a deal with the Hell Devil into sending them into hell, making a perfect encounter with one of the strongest devils in the series happen, the Darkness Devil. The Darkness Devil is so ridiculously powerful, he's able to clap everybody in that room, most of that being the group that Denji's with and some of the other villains. He is so ridiculously powerful, he kills characters in one shot. Power is now hit with PTSD, and Denji is badly injured after this encounter with the Darkness Devil. The only person that comes to save them is Makima, but even then, she gets heavily damaged and barely makes it out alive with everybody else. And the arc finishes off with an epic battle between Santa Claus and Denji, with Denji getting a power boost from Makima, still showing that she has some control over Denji still even this late into the story. Now, this is just the initial event of stuff. The growth doesn't really occur into the next arc, the Gun Devil arc, where in the beginning of it, a lot of information is told. Most of the people that fought in that Darkness Devil fight are dead now, so that really means that Denji, Power, and Aki are the only ones truly left in their friend group after this battle, of course including Makima. The The group reacts in their own human ways. Power and Denji, of course, grow closer together as Denji has really nothing to really honestly prove after this fight. He just takes it as it is and just tries to move on to the best of his abilities and help Power, which a close and good friend would do with another friend. But Aki, on the other hand, takes it really damn hard. In scenarios where you lose people and just overall lose, some people really take it to heart, and Aki really takes it to heart and falls into the trap of Makima. And not to spoil anything for his character, he eventually falls under her control as the Control Devil and leads him into a suicidal mission, which at the end of it, he becomes the Gun Fiend. A battle occurs where Denji and Power have to fight the Gun Fiend, and well, it is an emotional battle for sure. Denji is left with two options, either save Aki or kill Aki. And with Makima on the other line of a phone telling Denji what to do, Denji does, of course, kill Aki, sadly. But to be assured, Aki does find peace within his own mind at the very end of this fight, ending their friendship permanently with the death of Aki. After having a traumatic experience after the Darkness Devil fight and killing Aki, Denji has reached critical levels of depression, just not being able to function properly and not being that quirky kid who was just perverted at the beginning of the series and just having fun at what he was doing and trying to get the love of Makima. He has truly just fallen into something I think a lot of people in life, in a normal life, will encounter at some point. And guess who's there at the end of the tunnel? Makima. Welcome to the Control Devil arc, the last arc in Chainsaw Man Part 1. Seeing Denji at his lowest point, Makima uses this opportunity to invite him to his house, where she basically reveals her true intentions and plans to Denji. She reveals to Denji that he is the reason why his father is dead. In an act of self-defense, Denji kills his father, but she phrases it in just a way to make it seem like he was the reason why he died, that he's the bad person and not his father. In any regular circumstance in a normal life, killing a person in self-defense isn't bad, but due to her just being a toxic, evil, manipulating woman, she just phrases it in just the right way to make Denji feel bad, and then proceeds to reveal that she will never let him have a normal life whatsoever, for the power that he holds is sacred to her for reasons I'll get on to explaining later. She then proceeds to walk Denji to the door, and in a very striking panel in which the fall of Lucifer is shown, you could view this panel as Makima falling from grace in the eyes of Denji, being a parallel to Lucifer falling in the eyes of God. She then tells Denji to open the door, and the other person on the other side of that door is Power, holding a birthday cake for Denji because it is Denji's birthday today. She then proceeds to point her finger at Power and blast her point blank. Power is dead. A short time later, Denji has had enough. Through all the trials and tribulations he has done for her and for everybody around him, he just breaks. But he doesn't break down in a sense where he cries and has no power and is just down on his luck. He doesn't do that. He begins to do the thing any devil would when cornered, enraged, and just pissed off. He begins to transform into the Chainsaw Man, the devil that all devils fear, and begins to slaughter everything in his path, friend or foe, and is just a monster of a devil, and is just fucking stupidly powerful and is just murking through everything. There is a conversation between Makima and Kishibe where Makima proceeds to explain why he is so feared. The Chainsaw Man has the ability to wipe away anything from existence after eating them. She uses the example of the Nazis to prove her point to Kishibe. Kishibe is in awe. He does not know what she is saying at all. He's dumbfounded at what she is explaining to him. She then reveals her plan to Kishibe. She wants to be with the Chainsaw Man. She is a toxic fan, or stan in some interpretations, for the Chainsaw Man. And either way, she does not care how this is acquired, either being with him or being consumed by him. Either way, it's a win-win situation for her. Well, how could she somehow defeat a monster like him and gain him? Well, the only way she can is with some 300 big IQ plays, by using previous devil hybrids to fight on her side to defeat him and weakening him slowly throughout the series. If a devil is not feared anymore, their power will diminish, and as the human population likes to gas up Denji as being this hero, Denji is slowly getting weaker and weaker throughout the series and probably moving on forward after this arc as well. Denji, even in the state of ferocity and power and strength, is eventually pushed into a corner and has basically no way out. But through some plot convenience bullshit, Power is able to make her return in a new form and is able to save both her and Denji. But of course, Power does take a lot of damage, and a scene very reminiscent to Puccina and Denji in the beginning of the series, Power tells Denji to find her again in her new life after she has died in this current life and in the one that she will have in hell and be reincarnated into the next back on Earth very shortly for part 2. Denji has a new motivation and drive in this world to find Power once again and make her Power. The final confrontation between Makima and Denji occurs, and to briefly sum it up, Denji reveals a massive fact towards all of us. Makima can't see, she can only smell. And surprisingly enough, even though Denji's an idiot, Denji figures out she never smells Denji, only Puccina's heart that is within Denji, and uses that to blindside her with a chainsaw attack in this final fight, finally removing this toxic person from his life, ending her. And then he proceeds to cannibalize her. Yeah, it got really weird at the very end. But yeah, Denji is able to defeat her and use his newfound power of eating things to his advantage. It's fucking gross. Ugh. But there's one last thing to mention in this journey of massive growth of a normal life for Denji. The product of this relationship shows up. The reincarnation of Makima is shown to Denji by Kishibe, and Kishibe basically explains, we can't really, raise a child in a multinational organization that protects the country, so we're giving her to you. And Denji has now become a father figure to a child that is the reincarnation of one of his greatest enemies. And now he's going to high school, and we continue this plot onward to part 2, which has yet to be released. That was one hell of a journey, I won't lie. It has been a winding road of depression, of happy moments, of glorious moments, and overall just a fun read of manga in terms of a journey this damn good of a character. Denji has gone through a lot in this story. A massive amount of growth has occurred during this journey, coming from absolutely nothing, having nothing emotionally or physically to call his own except a shack and a dog, to eventually having a house, having some type of child from a product of a relationship that was so toxic it made him become something he probably didn't want to become, having friends on this journey, to having heartaches during this journey, through just going through some of the difficult parts of life in a very short amount of time, to eventually having some type of happy ending, at least for him, with some major baggage to carry on into part 2. In short, Denji's journey is fucking awesome, and his goal to a normal life continues onward. Can't wait for Chainsaw Man part 2. Well, I hope you liked the video, and if you're a fan of Chainsaw Man, please like and subscribe. I'll be greatly appreciated, and that's going to be the end of the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, stay hydrated. See you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen.